Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by negativity, struggling to find a sense of peace and purpose in your daily life? Look no further. In this video, we'll explore the ancient wisdom of one of history's greatest leaders, Marcus Aurelius, and discover how his teachings on positivity can transform your mindset and empower you to live your best life. Lesson 1. Self-knowledge. Knowing yourself is the most important thing for personal growth and self-awareness. It means getting to know yourself very well, including your feelings, thoughts, goals, and principles. Marcus Aurelius thought that the first step to being wise was to know yourself. He thought that only by understanding who we are can we go through life's challenges with clarity and purpose. In our busy world, it's easy to lose touch with ourselves among all the noise and other things that interest us. As we deal with the stresses of work, relationships, and social norms, we might lose touch with our deepest thoughts and feelings. But Marcus Aurelius tells us that the only way to find real happiness and satisfaction is to look inside ourselves. To know ourselves better, we have to look inside our thoughts and hearts and find the truths that are there. This is called introspection and reflection. We need to be honest and brave during this process because we have to face our fears, doubts, and weaknesses head-on. It's not always easy to face the parts of ourselves we'd rather hide, but we can only fully accept ourselves when we shine a light on our dark. Self-knowledge helps us understand our strengths and flaws, which lets us use our skills and get past our weaknesses. We learn about our deepest beliefs and values, which help us make choices and act in ways that are true to who we are. Being clear inside is like having a guide that points us toward a life with purpose and meaning. Knowing yourself well helps you accept and care for yourself deeply. Being accepting of all of our parts, even the ones we think are broken or not quite right, helps us feel more whole and connected. We stop trying to reach an unreachable standard of beauty and instead learn to love ourselves just the way we are, knowing that our worthiness is natural and doesn't depend on anything else. Marcus Aurelius thought that getting to know oneself was important for finding peace and calm inside. Getting to know our own wants and dislikes can help us break free from outside forces and find peace in the middle of life's storms. We stop being tossed around by fate and take control of our own lives, which gives us the strength to handle life's trials with grace and strength. Self-knowledge remembers us that real happiness comes from inside, even though the world often tells us to look for approval and happiness elsewhere. This kind of happiness doesn't come from awards or praise from other people. It comes from being truly yourself. When we are sure of who we are and what we stand for, we don't need other people to tell us we're fine. We know our own worth. Getting to know yourself takes a lifetime of hard work, patience, and self-reflection. It is a process of constant growth and development as we shed the layers of conditioning and societal expectations that hide who we really are. There may be hard times along the way, but the results are huge. A life with clarity, purpose, and authenticity. Lesson 2. Letting go. Life is like a tapestry, and we often get caught up in the threads of attachment, holding on desperately to the past or nervously to an unknown future. Still, Marcus Aurelius teaches us how to let go, which is a freeing skill that is necessary for living a happy and satisfying life. At the heart of letting go is the understanding that life is temporarily. The good and bad things that happened in the past can weigh us down if we let them shape the present. Having regrets and anger keeps us tied to times that are long gone, which keeps us from fully enjoying the present. Marcus Aurelius tells us to let go of the past and learn from it, but not let it influence our present and future. When we let go of old grudges and mistakes, we free ourselves, making room for growth, healing, and rebirth. It's easy to get caught up in worry and fear when we think about the future. Worries about what's to come can consume us, making us stress over things that haven't happened yet. However, Marcus Aurelius tells us that we can't change the future. We waste the precious gift of the present moment when we worry about what might or might not happen. Allowing ourselves to let go of our attachments to the future frees us from fear and uncertainty. letting us fully experience the present moment. Mindfulness, or the skill of being fully present in the present moment without judging or resisting, is an important part of letting go. Being mindful means paying attention to our feelings and thoughts with interest and kindness instead of getting caught up in them. Mindfulness helps us become more aware of the present moment without being distracted by our thoughts. This lets us handle life's difficulties with calm and clarity. Letting go is an act of surrender, which means giving up what we think is our power over how things will go. Marcus Aurelius says that we are just passengers on the path of life, getting swept along by fate. When we give in to the natural flow of life, we let go of the illusion of control and accept that life is unpredictable. We find freedom when we give up, not when we give up hope, but when we accept what is, which lets us flow easily with the flow of life. Letting go makes you more resilient, which means you can handle problems with ease and strength. By letting go of our attachment to certain results, we build an inner strength that is stronger than any outside circumstances. Instead of being tossed around by the winds of change, we are sure that we have the strength to handle life's storms. Letting go gives us the power to change and adapt, turning failures into chances to learn more about ourselves and grow. Giving up something is a deep act of self-love and self-care. It's a statement of faith in the universe's underlying wisdom and a willingness to let God plan our lives. We make room for joy, creativity, and satisfaction. To grow when we let go of things that don't serve us anymore, like regrets from the past, worries about the future, or limiting beliefs. Letting go is not a sign of defeat. It's a brave step into the unknown, a path of self-discovery and freedom that brings us closer to our true selves. Lesson 3. Ego and labels. When it comes to Marcus Aurelius's lessons, the ideas of ego and labels are very important. Ego, which is often thought of as a swollen sense of self-importance or identity, can make it hard to make our lives more positive. It keeps us from seeing how everything is linked and makes us feel separate and better than others, which makes it harder for us to connect with them and feel empathy. Marcus Aurelius urges us to go beyond the limits of egoic thought and see that the labels we give ourselves and others are just mental constructions. Whether it's our social rank, our job, or our personal accomplishments, these labels are made-up walls that keep us from seeing who we really are. When we identify too closely with these labels, we make divisions and hierarchies that make people angry and upset. Marcus Aurelius tells us to have a broader view of the world, one that is based on compassion, understanding, and modesty. We encourage acceptance and kindness by recognizing that everyone has inherent dignity and worth, no matter what their position or labels are. We recognize that beneath the labels there is a shared humanity, a desire to connect, understand, and join. People who want to be positive need to learn to see past the differences of ego and labels and see the beauty and depth in every person. By being open and curious, we let deeper connections and more interesting events into our lives. We give up the need to be liked or approved of and instead find happiness in the joy of real human interaction. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that other people's thoughts and ideas are just their own interpretations, not absolute truths. Labels are easy to put on ourselves and others, and other people are likely to do the same. When we let go of our need for outside approval and accept our own worth, we free ourselves from the control of other people's views. Marcus Aurelius tells us to think about whether or not our own opinions and views are true. Are the labels and judgments we make based on facts, or are they skewed by our own prejudices and ideas? By becoming more self-aware and reflecting on our thoughts and feelings, we can see how our egoic habits affect how we see ourselves and the world around us. It is a journey of self-discovery and freedom to get beyond ego and labels. To do this, you need to be brave, humble, and ready to question the stories that society tells us. By accepting ourselves as we really are and showing care for others, we make the world a better place for everyone, where happiness and kindness grow. Marcus Aurelius's lessons on ego and labels give us deep insights into how embracing humility, empathy, and authenticity can change our lives. By going beyond the limits of egoic thinking, we can make more meaningful connections, develop more compassion, and start a new age of hope and possibility. Marcus Aurelius said that we should try to see past the names that separate us and embrace the humanity that makes us all the same. Lesson 4. Non-resistance to evil. In the past, people have had the wrong idea about what it means to not fight evil. Some people might see it as weakness or indifference when crime is going on. Stoicism, on the other hand, by Marcus Aurelius, shows a greater truth that goes beyond just reacting and retaliating. Fighting against evil is like fighting an endless battle against forces we can't control. Marcus Aurelius tells us to take a different stand, one that comes from being strong inside and having clear morals. Not fighting back doesn't mean you're okay with unfairness. It means you won't let bad things take over your heart and mind. Imagine a rough river that flows through rough rocks and dangerous waves. If you try to fight its currents, you could get swept away by its anger. But the essence of non-resistance is to go with the flow, to handle its turns and twists with ease and poise. In the same way, when we face evil, we can either fight it in a pointless way or take a position of non-resistance that is based on knowledge and virtue. Non-resistance does not mean that you don't care or are interested. When bad things happen, you can choose to react with kindness and understanding instead of hatred and anger. When someone does something wrong, we have the power to stop the cycle of violence and revenge, to rise above the conflict, and live by the values of love and forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius knew that the real test of strength is not being able to beat other people, but being able to control yourself. When we work on finding inner peace and serenity, we become immune to life's storms because we are firmly grounded in our own moral character. It's not a sign of weakness to not fight back. It's a sign of courage to refuse to let anger and hate consume you. Think about the magical bird, the phoenix, which rises from the ashes of its own death. Even when bad things happen, it doesn't give up or become angry. Instead, it welcomes change and comes out of it stronger and more adaptable than before. Similarly, when we choose not to fight, we rise above the limits of our ego and accept the limitless potential of the human spirit. Non-resistance is not just letting things happen. It is an intentional interaction with both good and evil forces. We promise to stick to our beliefs and principles even when things get hard. When we refuse to get caught up in the cycle of bad things, we shine like lights in a world that is mostly dark. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them." To stand up to evil with love and kindness is the ultimate act of defiance. It's an act that goes beyond time and space and will be remembered throughout the ages as proof of the strength of the human spirit. As we go about our daily lives, there are many chances to practice non-resistance, to pick love over hate, kindness over indifference. This path is full of difficulties and problems, but in the end, it leads to freedom and understanding. Let us remember Marcus Aurelius's wise words and accept the transformative power of non-resistance as we go through life's challenges. Together, we can build a world based on peace, justice, and compassion. Lesson 5. Kindness and compassion. Being kind and caring are like lights that shine on the way to a better future in a world that is often full of conflict and struggle. With his deep insights, Marcus Aurelius shows us how these virtues can change our lives and encourages us to use them every day. Kindness is the heart language that can pass through language, society, and religion. It is a simple but meaningful act that can lift people's spirits, heal scars, and bring people together. An encouraging word, a warm smile, or a helping hand are just a few of the amazing ways that acts of kindness can change the world for the better. On the other hand, compassion is feeling sorry for other people when they are hurting. It means being ready to help those in need, comfort those who are hurt, and stand with those who are pushed to the edges of society. Being compassionate means seeing yourself in other people's faces, and realizing that we are all human and linked. When people are kind and caring to each other, they build a society that is more peaceful and caring. There are positive effects that spread far and wide when we go into every contact with an open heart and a spirit of generosity. Any act of kindness, no matter how small, can start a chain reaction of goodwill that makes others want to do the same and keep the circle going. Being kind and compassionate not only makes the other person's life better, but it also makes our own lives better in deep ways. Kind actions cause the release of oxytocin, also known as the love hormone, which makes people feel warm and connected. There is also evidence that developing kindness can make you more emotionally strong, happier with your life, and even healthier. Kindness and care are not just ideas, they are real things that can make the world a better place. They can change people's lives, mend broken hearts, and bring people together. Do not waste any more time fighting about what a good man should be, as Marcus Aurelius said. Become one. Take his advice to heart and try to be kind and compassionate in everything we say, do, and think. Lucius Verus, Marcus Aurelius' adopted brother, was one of the most important people in his life who showed him great kindness and care. Marcus always treated Lucius with kindness and respect, even though they had different personalities and backgrounds. He saw that everyone has worth and honor. Their relationship went beyond family roots and turned into a partnership based on respect, support, and understanding for each other. As Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius was dedicated to doing what was right, being fair, and caring for others. He tried to ease the pain of the poor and the outcast by putting in place policies that were meant to make the lives of his people better. His famous work, Meditations, is full of thoughts on how important it is to be kind and understanding to everyone, no matter what their situation is. We can follow Marcus Aurelius's lead by being kind and caring to ourselves and others. The first step is to practice self-compassion, which means being kind and understanding to ourselves as you would be to a close friend. By caring for and being kind to ourselves, we fill up our mental tanks, which lets us be more present for other people. Kindness and compassion can be shown to everyone around us, whether they are family, friends, co-workers, or people we meet every day. Small acts of kindness like listening, helping, or encouraging someone can have a big effect on their health and happiness. The lessons Marcus Aurelius gave us about compassion and kindness are timeless reminders of how much these traits can change our lives and the world around us. We can help make the world a better place by being kind, caring, and positive in our thoughts, words, and deeds. The best revenge is to be unlike him who hurt you, says Marcus Aurelius in a beautiful way. Let's make kindness and compassion our guiding ideals. This will lead to a better, more caring future for everyone. Lesson 6. Strength in love. Love, which is the strongest and most transcendent force known to humans, is at the heart of Marcus Aurelius's beliefs. This world is often very dark, but love shines like a lighthouse and helps us get through the hard parts of life. It was clear to Marcus Aurelius that all kinds of love can heal scars, mend broken hearts, and bring people together. Love is the essence of happiness. It's a force that knows no limits and can cross over barriers. It's what gives us the strength to get through hard times, see the beauty in chaos, and find comfort in the arms of others. Marcus Aurelius said, "Love only what comes your way and is meant to be for you." What could be better for you? In its purest form, love is a gift from the world, a divine way of showing how everything is connected and one. Marcus Aurelius tells us that we need to learn to love ourselves first, before we can fully accept the love of others. Self-love is not being greedy. It's a deep understanding of how valuable and important we are. A strong trust in our own worthiness of love and acceptance is the base on which all other types of love are built. When we love ourselves, we feed our souls and fill up our inner tanks with happiness and strength. We learn to be kind and compassionate to ourselves, letting go of our flaws and enjoying our successes. Self-love gives us the strength to set good limits, put our health first, and keep going after our dreams no matter what. a source of happiness and hope. Marcus Aurelius talks a lot about the good things about passionate, devoted, and committed love. Romantic love can make us want something more, wake up our senses, and fill our minds with never-ending happiness. There is a holy bond between these two souls, one that was made through closeness and trust. It's important to remember that Marcus Aurelius says love doesn't always go smoothly. To get through the rough patches of life together, you need to be patient, understanding, and devoted. When love gets hard, we learn how strong and resilient we really are. In the end, we come out of it stronger and more united than ever. An agent of peace and kindness. There is a force called universal love that goes beyond the limits of romantic love. It is not limited by time, place, or identity. Universal love is a deep recognition of how much we are all the same, and it calls us to honor the natural worth and dignity of each person. Marcus Aurelius tells us that universal love is not a feeling that you have, but a choice to care about other people. It is a call to action, to help others, to ease their pain, and to work toward a more fair and just community. When we accept universal love, we find power in numbers, unity in differences, and hope when things are bad. Marcus Aurelius's ideas about the power of love tell us that being positive is more than just a state of mind. It's a choice to accept all kinds of love. We have the power to change our lives and the world around us through self-love, sexual love, or love for everyone. Marcus Aurelius said it so well, "Love only what comes your way and is meant to be for you." What could be better for you? Take his advice to heart and start a journey of love, kindness, and happiness. Lesson 7. Simplicity. In a world full of noise and distractions, the search for simplicity becomes an important way to deal with the difficulties of modern life. Marcus Aurelius, who had a deep knowledge of how people work, saw that simplicity could change people's lives for the better and make them happier. Being simple isn't just about having fewer things or clearing out your room. It's a way of thinking, a choice to focus on what's important and get rid of the things that get in the way of our happiness and contentment. Marcus Aurelius tells us to get rid of the extras in our lives and focus on the things that make us happy and satisfied. When we embrace simplicity, we learn to be deeply thankful for all the good things in our lives. We stop chasing after short-lived pleasures or things and instead learn to find beauty and wealth in the quiet and simple times. When looked at through the lens of simplicity, a walk in the woods, a heartfelt talk, or a meal with loved ones can all bring you great joy. Being simple frees us from the chains of consumerism and the never-ending search for more. In a world where people are always trying to get more things, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that real wealth is not having lots of things, but having a lot of good things inside us. By breaking free from the never-ending cycle of consumption, we regain our independence and find the freedom to live our lives in a way that is true to our values and goals. Simplicity helps you think clearly and know what you're doing. In a world full of distractions, seeking simplicity helps us focus on what really matters, making it possible to find the core in all the noise. When we clear our thoughts of worries and stress that aren't necessary, we make room for creativity, inspiration, and inner peace to grow. When we choose to live simply, we also learn to deeply respect the natural world and its cycles. Marcus Aurelius shows us how we are all linked to each other and how important it is to live in harmony with nature. We can be good stewards of the earth by living a simple life that respects its resources and keeps its delicate balance. This will help us feel reverence and thanks for the gifts it gives us. Keeping things simple helps us be honest and dependable with other people. When we take off the masks of fakery and pretense, we make room for real relationships based on respect and understanding. We make room for lasting relationships based on trust, honesty, and acceptance when we let ourselves be vulnerable and be ourselves. At a time when things are complicated and chaotic, the search for simplicity stands out as a bright light that shows the way to a happier and more satisfying life. Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom reminds us that the only way to find real happiness is not to get more things or look for approval from other people. Instead, it is to practice simplicity, which means being happy, content, and at peace in the present moment. As we move toward simplicity, let us remember what Marcus Aurelius said and enjoy the beauty of being simple in every part of our lives. Let's learn to be thankful for the good things in our lives, recognize how we are tied to everything around us, and make real connections with other people. Adopting simplicity opens the way to a more meaningful, purposeful, and positive life, one that is guided by honesty, inner peace, and clarity. Lesson 8. Patience. In a world where getting things right away is common, learning to be patient is like taking care of a rare and valuable flower in the middle of a busy concrete jungle. Marcus Aurelius says that patience is more than just being able to wait. He says that it is a practice of endurance, grit, and self-discipline. The virtue of patience comes from having a lot of inner power. We have to be able to handle the ups and downs of life with grace and strength, no matter how hard the road may seem. Being patient doesn't mean just sitting there doing nothing. It means staying strong in the face of problems and believing in the universe's natural wisdom.
Before we can learn to be patient, we need to learn more about ourselves. Whether it's anger, worry, or a need to be in charge, we need to be aware of what makes us impatient and how to control it. We can start to figure out why we're impatient and find inner peace by putting the light of awareness on these parts of our minds. Self-control is another important part of being patient. Restraint and moderation are things we need to practice in our actions and responses, even when things are tough. We don't give in to urges or reactions that come to us quickly. Instead, we pause, breathe, and answer with clarity and calm. This intentional pause gives us a chance to use our reason and knowledge to guide our actions toward good results. Being patient and being resilient go hand in hand. There will be failures along the way because life is full of them. But what makes us who we are is how well we can get back on our feet after these setbacks with strength and drive. We don't dwell on past mistakes or give up when things go wrong. Instead, we work on being resilient so that we can keep going after our goals and dreams. Being patient also means fully accepting the present moment. It means realizing that life moves at its own pace and that we can't always control what happens. We can let go of fear and stress when we surrender to the flow of life. This lets us welcome the present moment with open arms. Being able to accept that everything happens for a reason and in its own time gives us peace and happiness in the middle of life's chaos. Being patient isn't just something you do by yourself. It's also something you do when you're with other people. It requires you to understand and care about the people around you, remembering that everyone is on their own road and may be having their own problems. We can build stronger relationships based on trust, respect, and kindness if we are patient with each other. Getting better at being patient takes a lifetime of self-discovery, self-discipline, and self-mastery. It takes us to build up a lot of inner strength, resilience, and acceptance, which will lead us to a happier and more peaceful life. It was said by Marcus Aurelius, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Being patient gives us a deep sense of inner peace and contentment, which helps us handle the difficulties of life with grace and wisdom. So let us practice waiting, because it's through patience that we can become strong, resilient, and finally, truly happy. Lesson 9. Natural flow goes through us without any trouble. Natural flow teaches us to let go and go with the flow of life, knowing that fighting it will only cause us pain. Marcus Aurelius tells us not to fight against the flow, but to believe in the universe's natural wisdom, knowing that every turn and twist has a bigger purpose. Life is like a fabric, with threads of happiness and sadness, success and failure. When we accept the natural flow of life, we learn how to handle its ups and downs with ease and strength. The way a river flows through the land is similar to how we should let ourselves change and adapt to the different currents of life. Giving up our need for control and letting go of the illusion of security gives us a certain amount of freedom. When we let go and let life happen as it will,
we let in all the infinite options that lie beyond our limited view. We learn that every setback is not a loss, but rather a chance to get better, and that every obstacle is a step on the way to our final goal. Marcus Aurelius tells us that fighting back only causes more pain. We set ourselves up for disappointment when we hold on too tight to our wants and hopes. But when we learn to believe that life will work out as it should, we find a deep peace that goes beyond our problems. Real freedom comes from letting go of things that we can't change and accepting them as they are. The lesson of natural flow is bigger than just one person. It's about how everything is linked. Each drop of water adds to the big river, and the same is true for all of us in the big fabric of life. When we accept the natural flow of life, we see our place in the bigger picture and respect how all living things are linked. There is a balance in nature that we can't fully understand. There is a rhythm that beats with the universe's pulse. By putting ourselves in sync with this cosmic music, we enter a state of effortless flow where things just happen and problems disappear when we stay determined. To let go of the need to control things and believe in the universe's inherent wisdom is to accept how things are. It helps us let go of fear and doubt by reminding us that the universe is holding us in its loving arms. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, accept whatever comes to you as part of your destiny. What could be better for your needs? What we can learn from nature flow tells us to live in the present moment and trust that things will work out as they should. When we accept the universe's smarts, we enter a state of easy flow where happiness and satisfaction are abundant. Taking Marcus Aurelius's advice to heart, may we let go and let fate carry us along, knowing that we are exactly where we are supposed to be. Lesson 10. Balance. Don't worry about the future. If you have to, you will face it with the same reasonable tools that you use to deal with the present. Caesar Marcus' balance is like a director in the symphony of life. It brings the different notes together into a beautiful melody. Marcus Aurelius talks a lot about the importance of balance and tells us to find a way to balance our goals and our happiness, our actions and our thoughts. Like a tightrope dancer, we walk the fine line between wanting to grow and being open to acceptance, trying to find balance in a world that is always changing. Being in balance isn't a fixed state, it's a process of constant change and response. Mindfulness and self-awareness are needed as we become more in tune with the tiny changes happening inside us. We need to be able to handle the currents in our lives with skill and grace, just like a good sailor changes the sails to catch the winds of change. Everything is linked, from yin and yang to light and dark, to happiness and sadness. Harmony is about recognizing this. We need to accept that life goes in cycles, just like day follows night and spring gives way to winter. In this way, we develop a calmness that goes beyond the highs and lows, balancing ourselves in the current moment. Balance is not about following a set of rules or ideals rigidly. Instead, it is a state of being that is open to the changing waves of experience. As we go through the ups and downs of life, we need to be able to bend and change. We learn to change our stance in reaction to the winds of change, like a skilled tightrope walker, so that we can find stability in the middle of uncertainty. Building a strong self-awareness and tuning into the soft whispers of our instincts are important for finding balance. We need to tune into the beats of our own hearts, like a well-tuned instrument does with the sounds of the universe. Mindfulness techniques like meditation and self-reflection help us find inner peace that lets us handle life's challenges with grace and ease. Balance isn't about being perfect. It's about accepting that being flawed is a normal part of being human. As a skilled tightrope walker knows that wobbling from time to time is part of the job, so too should we accept our own flaws and weaknesses. By doing this, we develop a humble attitude that lets us learn and grow from everything. To find balance, we need to learn to tell the difference between what is necessary and what is not, and then we can focus on what makes our lives better and feeds our minds. To take care of our hearts like a skilled gardener takes care of their plants, we need to plant the seeds of love, kindness, and wisdom, and watch them grow. Life is like a fabric, and balance is the thread that holds all the different parts together. In the same way that a skilled artist mixes the colors on their palette, we need to mix the different parts of our lives into a work of art that flows well. By doing this, we build a life that is beautiful, has purpose, and has meaning. This life shows the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the power of positivity.